and welcome to Let's Talk Health. My name is Leanne Howard, and today I have a very special student with us. He is the chairperson of the Medical Students Council, the chairperson of the Health Sciences Student Council. He's also graduating from the MBBCh, and what we are so proud of him as well for is he is a Rhodes Scholarship Awardee. Welcome, wonderful Khumalo.
Thank you.
So good to have you here with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, this is such an interesting time for you.
Very.
So let's start. What made you choose medicine? I mean, out of every degree, you chose the longest option. Why?
I'm very tempted to give the classic answer of, I didn't choose medicine, it chose me. It is true, okay. But I think for me, I chose medicine in a time when I didn't know what it takes to be a doctor. From a very tender age, around grade 4, I made the decision that I want to be a doctor. I didn't know what it takes, I didn't know how long it is to study it. But I think I'll attribute that largely to my mother at the time. When I said, I want to be a doctor, she cultivated and supported that dream, even in a time when I didn't know what it takes to be a doctor. And I think as a kid, when you take the direction of let's say I want to be a pilot,
yeah,
and your family supports that for years and years, you're less likely to end up changing. So as I grew into this dream or this passion of wanting to be a doctor, I got to a point where I said, you know what, this is actually all I'll ever know. This is it. I've parked my bus here. So yeah, and then obviously as you learn more about it and you realize that this is actually my passion, it's not just a dream anymore. And yeah, so for me it was really just that, having a dream, not understanding what it takes to reach it, and then have a supportive background or supportive family that cultivates that dream, until such a point where I got to grade 11, started applying, and I remember I only applied at Wits.
Okay. So you were confident it's Wits?
I think it was faith. I only applied to that, and my first choice was medicine, second choice, third choice was probably engineering. I don't even know. In retrospect, I made a mistake because I should have applied to other institutions, right? But luckily, I found myself here, and this is what I do for a living now. Yeah.
And that's amazing how you followed that dream from 4, as you say, that you went all the way, and here you are, and you actually completed that dream. Yeah,
it's been a very blessing-filled journey.
So why are you saying journey? What was your journey like at Health Sciences here at
Sure. It's been a roller coaster ride. I think for me, I came into health sciences and I went straight into student leadership. So I started being class representative, and I've been in multiple leadership structures as per your intro. And I think that's been the defining part of my journey in health sciences. But if I'm to speak about health sciences in general, I'll say, I think for me, health sciences is a very interesting space. You think you understand the disparities of society until you get here. Here you'll find people at the upper echelons, and then you'll find those guys at the bottom. So you see all these disparities between individuals, and you can actually see the rich from the poor, right? You can tell quite clearly. And the interesting thing is that all these people in health sciences are working towards a common goal, which is what I'll do next week, walk across Great Hall Stage and serve humanity. All right, so it's quite interesting to see, the various disparities. There's quite a lot of racism in health sciences. There's a lot of sexism in health sciences. These are things that we feel uncomfortable talking about. But it's a very interesting space because it contributes to your growth. It makes you a very resilient person. If I'm to say Wits Health Sciences, absolutely amazing. You meet world-leading thinkers, in the space. And for me, it's been that. It's been a journey of growth, of unlearning certain things about myself, about other individuals, but also just, seeing how different we are and seeing the beauty in the difference. Health sciences is a very interesting space. You learn every day, challenges you. I think I've grown so much in the past 6 years, more than ever in my life. So it's been an interesting one.
And you're still glad you only applied to Wits?
Still, look, I'm patriotic about Wits. I'm patriotic.
No, that's awesome.
At the time, I believed Wits was number 1 institution in the continent. I still do. You see your chick stats, you're like, no, not that one. I'm a Witsie, I'm very patriotic about this institution. It's funny, someone asked me a few weeks ago, and I said to them, what I love about Wits is all the wrong stuff about it. So all the things that make us repel is what makes me love it more, right? So all the stereotypes about VITS, how difficult it is, that's what I love, because it challenges you to grow, you know, so very patriotic.
It's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, I love those parts about VITS. All the things that make us go, yo, being at VITS is exactly what I love.
And I mean, with VITS, you get to experience so many different options, like you said, because there's that
Absolutely.
classism. You get to experience it all.
Yeah.
And we give our students sort of that full background to
Absolutely.
understand that, you know, this is what you're going to be dealing with when you become a
Yeah.
doctor. You're
Yeah.
not just going to be in the private space, but you actually do have to go into the community.
It doesn't just equip you for as a professional, as a human being. You come out here being a different person, how to deal with different types of personalities. And for me, that's been the hallmark of my experience here, dealing with different individuals and knowing how to appreciate people from different backgrounds. So that's been a highlight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned being in leadership from the time you joined. What this year, in your most busy year, what made you take on the chairperson role in the MEC and the HSSC?
I realized that this is my last opportunity. So I actually tried the MSc back in 2020. This was in my second year. I actually resigned 3 months into my position because we started in November, January, February of 2021, and then around March I resigned because I felt it wasn't a space where I was thriving, right, as a leader. And I resigned. It was a very tough decision, but I then took some years off. I started to lead as an agent now, not in a structure, right? I continued with my class rep periods, and yeah, so when I got to final year, a friend of mine says to me, well, it was fifth year, November 2023, he says to me, Chief, what if we run for MSc, right? Let's just do it, right? He's speaking about us at Wrap It Up, the tutors. He says, what if we just run for these positions and go for it? And at the time, I thought he was bluffing. I was like, I'm leaving.
He's not going to do this.
It haunted me that entire day. I kept calling him saying, no, Chief, you can't. What do you mean?
It's not us.
you awakened something in me. And then, yeah, around the time of elections last year, we decided to just put our names up.
Okay.
And yeah, what did I enjoy the most about it? I'm gonna be very honest and say the people. We could easily count all the events that we did, all our victories, but any group of people could do that. But I'm more fortunate about regarding the people that I served with. I learned a lot. I had a very, very great team in the MSc and in the Health Sciences Students Council. People who pull their weight, you know, people who, they actually make my job very easy, you know. Yes, it was still tough because as chairperson of any structure, you've got to be there to put out fires when they arise, but also to ensure that you know everything about every office, right? But I had a very good team and they were amazing. So what I enjoyed the most was the interactions, learning from the people I was serving with and seeing the change that we were able to bring onto this campus and inspire the next generation to take up leadership roles. You know, we had the largest recorded number of subcommittee members. We had about 30 in the MSc.
Oh, wow.
And this is from first year all the way to final year, right? So it's such things that made me very, very proud of the work that we've done. Yeah.
And would you encourage more people to run?
Absolutely. I would not encourage people to do it in their final year though, because it was tough.
I can imagine how juggling
It
your
was
last
tough.
with leadership.
It was tough, but yeah, absolutely, I would take up the space. It's yours.
So now that you are finally done, you know, now that you're going to graduate, what will you remember the most about your time here at Wits?
Yeah.
I mean, it can be more than one thing, but
Let me be brave and just say one thing. I think more than anything, my best memory of Wits will always be my tutees. So I held the head of pathology education portfolio at Wrap It Up Wits Medical Society. So I was tutoring third and fourth year Wits medical students. And with those, especially the GIMP, now people are going to crucify me because I'm nitpicking, I'm selecting a group. But the GIMP ones of this year, 2024, oh man, I had so many special moments with those people. So that's what I'm going to miss the most. I think I'll go anywhere in the world, I'll never meet that kind of energy, right? So we learned medicine together. I was not tutoring them, we were all learning, right? So that's what I'll remember and I'll miss most. Individuals who are very passionate about what they do, who are very, very humble, who are very, very determined to make a change in the world. Absolutely brilliant individuals. That's what I'll miss most. So I'll say, in general, it's the individuals, it's the people. Yeah.
Well, luckily you're in a space where people is your job. And you are going to be meeting amazing people as you go.
Yes.
But I can see how passionate you are about people and being involved with people. So that's great that even though you were doing such a challenging degree, you still took on tutoring. I mean, that is, that's really giving up a lot of time, but making a difference. So that is.
A little secret is that the tutoring helps your academics. I
would assume so.
It's not just a responsibility, it's a privilege as well. Because everything you tutor, I mean, repetition is mastery. I believe that. I believe repetition is mastery. So it helped my academics quite a lot. So I'll sit in an exam and I'll go, I remember my tutee asked me this question.
Yeah, I was helping you do that.
Yeah, so it's
a good way to look at tutoring.
It's
that you're also tutoring yourself, not just somebody else.
Yeah, I wouldn't know this amount of information without those people.
So now we move on to this big achievement that you got this year. Something that, as a university, as far as I'm aware, there's only a very few number of people that have won this Rhodes Scholarship. So how did you find out about the scholarship? What was the process like? What did you do? What will you have to do now that you've got the scholarship?
So I found out first about the scholarship back in the COVID years, all right? So 2020, 2021, 2022. There's a guy called Dr. Tafadzwa Kufazvineya. I might be butchering his surname, but he never actually taught me how to pronounce it. But we used to call him Flex, right? Okay. He's actually at Oxford right now completing his PhD. So I saw that he got it in his year when he graduated. And at that time, I didn't research about it, but I just knew about it. I was just exposed to it. And then this year, in my final year, I then walked into the library, the Wits Health Sciences Library, and I saw this little pamphlet. I remember vividly what the title, the heading was. It said, "Do you have what it takes to be a Rhodes Scholar?"
Okay.
And I decided, no, look, let me just take this
challenge.
Yeah, I put it on my room, on my wall in my room. And I then went to their website and I read their criteria. The first thing I thought when I read the criteria was, that's me, because they speak about someone who doesn't just have talents, but is passionate about using their talents to advance the interests of the world and fight the world's fight. So I thought this was me. I decided to apply for it.
Describing you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about academics, right? It's not just the scholarship that wants academically proficient or prolific people. It's about somebody who is able to use that to make the world a better place. So what I had to do was, so you submit an application, so you write two main things. So it's obviously your CV and all the transcripts and everything. But now you've got these two letters. The first one is the personal letter. This is where they want to know more about you as an individual. What's your story? What was the toughest thing you had to go through in your life and how did you get over that situation? What did you learn from it, etc.? What are your deep morals and values? So that's the personal letter. Then you've got the academic letter. What do you want to do at Oxford? How is that going to change the world? What's your vision? Why are you doing what you want to do? What are your academic accomplishments, etc.? So you put all that. So you submit that application, and then so this is worldwide, of course. But I applied to the Southern Africa committee. So then they shortlist you from there. They call you for regional interviews. You attend the regional interviews. I think there's about 4 committees in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. But it's different provinces going to a certain committee. So you do that, and then after that, if you advance, they take you to the finals. So it is a process. That's why when you get the scholarship, you're just in shock.
Such an achievement.
You're just like, wow, it's been a long journey. I started this application mid-year, and I only found out now in November that
So when you get to Oxford, what are you going to be doing with the scholarships? Give us a bit of insight into that.
I'm exceptionally passionate about musculoskeletal sciences. I'm passionate about orthopedics. For me, it means giving people back their function, right? And, research shows that it's one of the leading causes of disability. The diseases of musculoskeletal sciences are one of the leading causes of disability worldwide. I'm passionate, and over the years we've seen people grow older, but they grow older with disability. So I'm passionate about giving people back their function, ensuring that they have a better quality of life. So at Oxford, I intend on going for a PhD, in the musculoskeletal sciences. So yeah, that's the main thing. In fact, that's what I've been busy with over the past couple of days, submitting my application, and yeah, it's about a 3 to 4 year long program. So yeah, fingers crossed that's exactly what you get, because you get 3 options.
Okay.
My other options were in neurosciences. The other option was in this amazing course called Translational Health Sciences, which looks at challenges facing innovations in research and healthcare. So, but I'm very passionate about the default.
Yeah, and I think you're going to excel in something that you're more passionate
Yeah,
about. Just doing 2 other options is great.
Yeah.
But it's not as
which are
what's your
just of
passion?
interest and
Yeah,
not necessarily
your
of passion. Yeah.
And that is where, I've noticed, getting to know you over this year is when you're passionate about it, you shine. I mean, I've seen you when you present in front of students, you shine because that's
Passion.
you're passionate about those students and
Yeah.
talking to them and giving them inspiration.
Yeah.
So I've seen that in you. So what was your reaction and your feeling when you found out about the scholarship? Where were you? What were you doing?
Sure.
What was it like when you got that news?
So there's 2 stages. The first one was the regional, as a regional finalist. This is in Gauteng. There were about 17 of us that were shortlisted in Gauteng alone. So I remember when I was told, because you go through a 40-minute long, 40 interview, right?
Okay.
And you've got about 8, 9 people sitting across, and these are world-leading experts. So in their field, so it's people from different fields, right? So I remember when I got that, so after, I was actually the last person to be interviewed on that day. It was around 20 to 6 in the evening. So they hosted us at one of the hotels in Rosebank. That hotel connects to Rosebank Mall on 2nd floor. So after the interview, I go to
Hang out at the mall.
Yeah, to go to the restaurant to eat dinner. I kid you not, it must have been about 40 minutes after my interview, I get a call. Hi, wonderful, how are you? I'm good. How are you? No, I'm good. Where are you? Can you speak? Yeah, at this point, I don't know who's calling.
Yeah, I don't know who it is.
I just saw a 072 number. I was like, okay, yeah, we can speak. Sorry, I'm just at a restaurant eating. And then she says to me, this is the chairperson of that committee. She says to me, well, I guess a restaurant is the best place to be in, because we'd like to let you know that we've decided to advance you to the national final, national finals. Yo, I kid you not, I'm sitting in a very central part of the restaurant, and I've got these earpods on, and I'm talking to this lady, and I say, what? Around me is all these couples on dates. And I go, what? And they look at me, and I can feel these eyes flooding.
Staring.
And I'm just like, look, sorry, I'm happy.
Excited.
Yeah, I'm
This is great
excited.
news.
Yeah. So, it was a life-changing moment. I knew there was still another stage of an interview, but I was so happy.
But to be able to get to that point.
Absolutely. I yelled in that restaurant. I went, what? She says, yeah, you're such an incredible candidate, and we wish you all the best. We will be in touch. So that was it. The final interview is where, it was 22 of us. Now, this is everyone in South Africa, right? That's made it. So there was about 22 of us. I remember I was interviewed on the Saturday. On the Sunday, there were still interviews that were happening. So I got, called on the Sunday, the day after my interview. And I got called, and that one was quite short. That call was like 59 seconds long. He calls me, he says, wonderful, how are you? I said, I'm good, how are you? He says, I'm good, you're speaking to Nick, right? I'm like, yes, this is, and then, now I'm anxious, of course, because I know who Nick is.
You know Nick, like, this is the guy.
Yeah. And then he says to me, wonderful, congratulations. And
that's all he says, congratulations.
After congratulations, I didn't care what comes after. You can't say congratulations.
Didn't matter.
Sorry, we regret to inform you.
No, I mean, really, that would just be terrible.
Yeah, he says, we decided to award you the Rhodes Scholarship. And I go, no. And then he says, yes. And I'm like, sorry, yes.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, so it was such an amazing time. And then after that I said, sorry, you probably could have picked up in the interview that I'm a guy of many words, but right now I'm speechless.
Got nothing to say.
So I've been in shock. I think I'm still in shock today. It's very difficult to process it, and getting the scholarship for me means validation more than anything. That it doesn't really matter where you come from, and it doesn't shape where you're going, right? Where you are headed is what defines you, and it means, especially with the difficult story I've had in my life and the troubles I've had to go through, it's validation that those who dedicate their lives to service will always have a reward one day. So for me, it also means inspiring people from back at home, where I come from, to say there's a lot of talent in Katlehong, where I come from. and it's to validate the dreams of the individual that wouldn't have thought that it's possible for us.
Do it.
All right, and anybody who knows my story knows it's been tough. It's been very, very difficult, but it's almost like a stamp to say
that
the world is yours.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you put your mind to it,
Yeah.
you work hard. It doesn't matter where, like you said, where you come from.
Absolutely.
If you put in the time and the effort.
Yeah.
This is where you can end up.
Yeah.
You know, going to a whole new country.
Sure.
That's going to be something completely different.
So exciting, man.
This
So
this
exciting.
young boy from Katlehong is
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to the UK.
There's this thing we say in Katlehong, from Katlehong to the world, or from K1 to the world. It's an absolutely very, very exciting time, and I look forward to it. You know, I look forward to extending my footprint globally and doing the changes I was doing here, but at a larger scale. Yeah.
I know you've kind of like answered this next question, but now that you've been awarded, you've said what it means to you, but how do you feel it's going to add to this journey of being a doctor?
I think going to, look, I'm again, as patriotic I am about Wits, I'm now going to be patriotic about Oxford and say the best institution in the world. But it's certainly a top 3 institution in the world. And for me, going to that place will obviously expose me to a very, very prestigious institution, a premier research institution. I think it'll expose me to some of my idols, people that I've looked up to in the field of musculoskeletal sciences, but as thinkers. So it will certainly catapult and propel my career in the right and greener pastures. It will allow me to interact with people from different backgrounds, different countries, different cultures, you know, and I certainly will be a whole different person when I come back because I would have experienced, you know, the rest of the world in just one institution. So, especially going there as a Rhodes Scholar, you know, it's a community of people who are determined with fighting the world's fight and doing the right thing for the world. And I've certainly interacted with the cohorts that I'm going there with, and it's absolutely brilliant people, amazing people.
I had a look at the list, and
Absolutely.
I've seen from the different countries that you're all coming from, and
Yeah.
it looks amazing.
Yeah, I look forward to that. So it's certainly going to elevate my career to heights I never imagined, and I look forward to it, and I'm exceptionally grateful for that opportunity.
No, as a university, we are very proud of you.
Thank
As a
you.
faculty, we are very proud of you. And just in closing, what would you like to leave with, say to the current students and the ones coming in 2025? Is there any message or of inspiration that you would like to leave with them?
I think I want to summarize it in one statement. Whoever you see when you look in the mirror, that's who you are. This is both to the current students and the incoming students next year. You know, I think I've got this far in my career, and I still have a long way to go, of course, but I've attained this relative amount of success because whoever I see in the mirror is happy to be staring back at me. I'm a person, of course, no one's perfect, but I want to say to the students, both current and incoming, that if you look in the mirror and you see a failure, for that day, that's who you are. If you look in the mirror and see a winner, for that day, that's who you are. So you always, and I know it sounds like a cliche motivational speaker type of a line that you just got to believe in yourself and whatever, but I think I've achieved half of what I've achieved, at least, because I've believed in myself. I've looked in the mirror and I've seen somebody worthy enough to apply for the Rhodes Scholarship. And I hope my story doesn't just become, oh, we're inspired, but that inspiration triggers action in the individuals. So look in the mirror every single day and find your place in this world. I think that's where it starts. You could achieve anything you want, but if you achieve it and you still don't believe that you deserve to be there, it's like getting the opportunity to study medicine at Wits. You could achieve it because your marks were good, but if you go through the process without believing that you're supposed to be there, then it becomes an issue. So I'll say, whatever you see, whoever you see in the mirror, that's who you are. So if you show up as that good person that you see, then that's who you're going to be. And you can only be good for the world if you're good to yourself. So absolutely, I hope this also validifies the statement of nothing is impossible. And the sky is the limit, the world is your oyster. So love each other, certainly. I don't get this thing about students, especially the incoming ones. That's the one I'm going to say. We compete to get to Wits, and then we compete to stay in WITS, and then we compete to leave WITS. For me, it doesn't really make sense. So I hope that the incoming generation of students, not just in health sciences, collaborate more than competes. You've had to compete to get to WITS, but now that you're here, collaborate, love each other, just show kindness, show grace. It's a very difficult place to be in. It's a world-leading institution, right? So just love each other, care for each other, and just be there for each other, you know? Something as simple as being in a clinical skills group, and you can see that someone is needed, right? And you know you're in abundance. Give back, you know? I've had to sacrifice my academics by tutoring, you know, because you spend a lot of time tutoring. Sometimes you're tutoring things that are not in your exam.
Yours, yeah.
So, but I think I'm being rewarded for my service. So I do want to say, hold hands and just move together as a unit, as a community. That's what's going to determine the progression of this institution and our country, you know. But just to summarize again, whoever you see when you look in the mirror, that's who you are.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming today. It has been such an honor to hear, you know, how you felt about the scholarship and what you've done and what you're going to be doing. I think it's going to be an interesting time for you in the next 4 years. As a university, like I said, we're very proud and we wish you well. We hope you're not going to forget about FITS. You're still, you know, going to come back in and
yes.
Be that wonderful tutor, like you said,
Yes.
you know, for our students.
Yeah.
And good luck with your graduation next week. You
Yo,
are
I
going
look
to be
forward to
walking that great hall.
I look forward to that.
It's going to be a fun time for you.
Thank you.
And
I
enjoy
really
the moment.
appreciate it.
Take it all in, and we wish you well.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all the support that I've received and every individual. First of all, I'd like to shout out to my grandmother. Love you, Gogo, and the rest of my family. I can't name everybody.
We'll be here for the rest of the day, you say.
But WITS Health Sciences, I've met among the greatest of people in this institution. I'm very grateful for everybody that's contributed to my journey. I am because everybody is. And I wouldn't have gotten this far if I didn't have all the support. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.